This episode, we're working on the tank, and I'm super excited. I got this little aluminum. I've had this on the shelf for years, this Hamm's keg. Good morning, everybody. We are back at the shop. We were working on the mini chopper, and we're making a lot of progress. In the last episode, we worked on this fender. We got these fender struts built. We got the kickstand built. Before that, we did the engine, the exhaust, the intake, the blah blah blah, the front wheel, the back wheel. Tons of stuff on this so far. Disc brake, crazy belt-driven jack shaft thing. This episode, we're working on the tank, and I'm super excited. I got this little aluminum. I've had this on the shelf for years, this Hamm's keg. It's pretty cool, and I know some people are going to be probably a little upset that I'm cutting it up, but, you know, when I bought it, I'm like, that thing would make a killer gas tank or something. So, we are going to cut it up, and we're going to make a gas tank out of it. I got a gas cap here. I got these two, and I think that the smaller one is definitely going to fit the size of the tank better. That cap on this one just seems way too big. So we might save that one for something else and probably going to run this small one. We got a couple of petcocks. I got some other options too if these don't end up working out. We're going to have to build a deep tunnel on this thing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this tap and this back plate here. So this back plate has a big like snap ring on it, so we'll remove that first, and we'll see how we can remove this. If we can do it without breaking it, that'd be awesome, but it doesn't really matter because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But that's the plan. So let's get to tearing this thing down and see what's inside of it. I'm kind of excited to see what lies behind this cap here. Look, it says "Do not tamper." So this plastic thing here is kind of keeping it from coming out, so I think we got to start by just go ahead and remove this guy. Oh, okay, there's more than interesting. Snap ring. Do not tamper. Oh, there we go. I thought I was going to have to go in here and undo all this and whatnot, but nope. This is interesting. I'm sure this is where they pressurize it or something. We got some hardware in here. We'll definitely steal that out of there. I don't throw any hardware away. So, let me look real quick on the old eBay and see how much these things go for. Alright, it's worth around, it seems to be worth around $50 to $80. It does, I do have the box. I'm not going to get rid of the box. That makes it worth more. Let me show you this, the box. The box is pretty rough, but it is pretty cool as well. 2.25 gallons it says. But it's pretty cool. I'm going to keep the box obviously, but you know, if it was like hundreds of dollars, I might feel a little bit bad. But it seems like there's a lot of them out there. You can buy one if you want for not that much money. So, I broke it. It came out. I broke it. That's it right there, though. A little straw to go into the bottom of it. Quality protected with Reynolds wrap aluminum packing. Aluminum packaging. Sorry. Keep refrigerated tapper container. Hamm's draft beer. Keep refrigerated tapper container. Net contents 2.14 or 2.25 gallons. Brewed and filtered by the Hamm Brewing Company. THB Co. St. Paul, Minnesota. San Francisco, California. Los Angeles, California. Houston, Texas. Alright. So, this thing back here is a thick boy. This is a big chunk. It's heavy. So now my idea is to basically cut out a section in the bottom of it so that it will slip over the frame. So we need to cut a really straight section and be able to slip it over the frame. And we already have, you know, the tunnel's already cut up to here on the back, and then it's more shallow in the front. So by the time we slip it over, it will have a place to sit, and we might need to raise it up or adjust it or cut this deeper. I'm not sure, but I think that's the starting point. It's basically biting the bullet and cutting this thing, and that's where you got to start. So I need to do some measurements and mark this as good as I can, and go ahead and get it over the frame. See what it looks like. Alright guys, I got this thing pretty much where I want it. I basically just went in here and cut this up to where it starts the bend, and I think it looks really good right there. I think the back is where I want it, the front is where I want it. It's basically leaned down a little bit in the front. Might even, when we get the tunnel up in there, might even dig it in just a little bit deeper. We'll see, but I think that looks pretty good. I got this pen right here is basically holding it from sliding back. I think it's in a pretty good position. It's gonna be, you know, it's gonna clear the spark plug, and I'm gonna end up making a different wire for this that doesn't have this big ugly thing on it. It's gonna be a regular wire like I've made on some of my other bikes with some sort of cool looking wire. I'm not sure what yet, but that's the plan, is to get rid of this ugly thing. And regardless, we need to have clearance, because the new one will still come up to probably like right about here. So we have to have clearance on the tank, from between the tank and the spark plug. So I've already basically done some measurements, and this is the size piece of metal that I need to basically make this tunnel out of. One piece of metal, 13.5 by 16.5. I've got my chunk of aluminum here, and I'm going to cut it out. I think it's 19 this way, so I might just go ahead and take the 19 and just go 13 and a half. Take the 19, and then that'll give me a little bit of extra wiggle room. So yeah, that gives me a little extra wiggle room. Probably more than I need, but it'd be weird to leave a little, basically a little sliver on there. So might as well use that piece. So we're going to just take this thing at 13 and a half, measure it, zip it off with the circular saw, and then we're going to anneal it and bend it. I got to find a piece of tubing and set it up somewhere so I can actually bend it over the piece of tubing similar to this, and then we're going to make a tunnel. And then I got to do a bunch of trimming probably to make it actually fit in here, but this is basically the rough setup of how it's going to look. So let's get to it. Alright, so now it's on to the annealing part. I'm doing my research here, and I think they said needs to be about 700. There's a few different ways to do this. 775 degrees, got to heat it up. I'm just wanting to heat just this part right here where I'm going to be bending it. So like this It's probably about 3 inches wide. Surface area, and you got to keep it moving and keep it even. But then the thing is that it needs to be quenched, and I don't have a bucket that's anything big enough to dip it in, so I'm gonna have to run outside and basically hit it with the hose. So I guess I should maybe just put like a head mount on or something if you guys want to, so you guys can see this. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to get the torch ready. We're gonna heat this section up. I've got a digital thermometer right now. The aluminum's 58 degrees just sitting there. So we're gonna heat it up, and then I'm gonna run outside. We're gonna heat it up to that 775 degrees evenly, and I'm gonna run outside, hit it with the hose, and then we should have an annealed piece of aluminum, and hopefully that's annealed enough that I can just bend my hand over this piece of pipe that's the same diameter as this, and hopefully it doesn't end up too tight because I want it to be able to just kind of slip over, but we're just gonna do it, see what happens. Okay, so you want to heat it up slow, so I'm gonna basically, that's really light. It's pretty much as low as it can go. So we'll start with that. We're only up to like 80 degrees, so we're going nice and slow here. 775 degrees, that's a lot. Things are already bending pretty good here on its own. See where we're at. 220. Okay, let's go ahead and let's call it. Okay, I want to get this as quickly into the water as possible. You saw right there, I started to melt. Oh. Well, yeah, this whole thing is hot. Like, you just did that center, but it spreads throughout the whole piece very easily. So we ended up probably annealing more than we wanted, but we're gonna just bang this thing around. We're gonna make it work. Hopefully it's soft enough to get bent over this. Still slightly warm on the hands through the gloves, so yeah, this is not. Okay, so this back part is looking pretty good. This front part is not bending as good. So maybe we just need to heat and try and do it while it's hot. I don't know. It's gonna be, might be too hot to touch though, is the problem. So let's just give it a shot. Let's you know what, I got an idea. Let's try and put some clamps on it. Okay, so now we have a really nice, very large radius bend. We need a tight radius bend. This is gonna be interesting. Woo, that's too much. Here, sit here. So one of the methods they talk about is basically getting it sooty like this. I may have gotten it too sooty, I don't know. And then turning on the regular oxygen frame And then once you burn this off, that's when it's good to go. But you can see some of it is getting burnt off right now. I just don't want to just melt this piece of steel or a piece of aluminum. I need it. It's coming off of there though. Alright, let's try it hot. See how it works. Let's try and just crank on this. Oh yeah, that's going real easy. So maybe we should put one on the back side too. Can't see my line anymore very well, but we got enough extra material that we should be good. We do need to move this up. Alright, I think we should go for more heat. This side is a lot closer than this side, so let's give it some more heat. Alright, I think we're good. I'm gonna try and work it with these clamps and then probably, oh shit, probably just gonna put the whole thing on the ground, start beating it with a hammer, get it to where we want it. Yeah, alright. So that looks pretty good so far, but you can see we got a little waviness here. We got to spread the whole thing back out. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just cool it, and then we can work on straightening it out. All right. Alright, you guys, aluminum, I like working with aluminum, it's fun, it cuts really easily, but man, the aluminum glitter that gets everywhere sucks. So, I took a minute to stop and clean some of it up. We got this thing roughly in the shape that we need it to be. We're gonna slip it on here for the first time and see how it fits. Oh yeah. A little tight. Okay. I think right about there. I like that. This looks really good here. Up here, I'm gonna have to make some cuts probably and bend this around so that it fits better on the head tube. I had to stick this nose out pretty far because we got to be able to put a bolt in it. And it starts to bend right there, I guess, so we got to basically make this so it contours to the head tube, which won't be a big deal. But other than that, it looks pretty good. I might push it back just a smidge more. to 3 cuts to that, and then we'll bend that down. I need to work some of this in and make it closer to the body of the tank. Just to make it easier to weld and less stuff to grind off when we're done. Let's keep working on this. I'm not going to record me whittling away at this, but you know, I just got to keep on going at it with the die grinder and whatever else, files and everything, just to get it a little bit closer and get this in the right spot. Okay. Alright, so I got this thing contoured to fit on here perfect. I mean, it isn't welded up yet, but we got 3 slits in it. That basically made it work. Alright, so the next thing we got to handle, the next thing that we got to take care of is this tank is actually coated in plastic. It says right here, packaging, aluminum, a quality protected with Reynolds wrap. Aluminum packaging. So another issue we're going to run into is the inside of this thing has some sort of a paint or something on it. So here's the inside of the tank, and you can see it's like this gray paint or something. So I'm not sure. That could really bite us in the butt. There's not too much we can do about that. I'm going to try and get something in here to try and clean off around where we weld. But first, I'm going to try and clean up the tank with this stripper wheel on the outside and see how that does with taking this plastic off. I don't think the inside is the Reynolds plastic rack. It might be, but the outside definitely has a plastic coating on it. But that paint on the inside could definitely cause us some problems. Let's see how this does for stripping this off. This tool from Eastwood, this drum sander, I guess you would call it, it's pretty heavy, so it's kind of hard to wield, but it works really good. Alright, so that's working really good. I'm going to end up doing this to the whole tank. But the problem is it's really hard to hold on to. It's like, you know, it's a round thing, and it's like, how do you hang on to it with that, especially without like screwing it, messing it up. So that is a bit of a challenge, but I think we're gonna be fine with for welding purposes. That removes that outside really easily, and then on the inside, we'll try to get a die grinder in there or something. It's gonna be a pain, but. And same with up here, it's going to be hard to get in up here and get this cleaned out. We're going to do our best. I'm going to try and actually clamp this in somewhere. Alright, so we're making some progress here. I've actually got all the seams welded up except for this hole in the back, which I'm going to have to make some pieces to fit in here. But I wanted to leave that open for now because I got to do the cap. So now I have to make some hard decisions, like, do I just put this in the center here? Obviously, I'm going to bring it way down. Do you put it like that? Do you put it like this so that it's pretty much level when it's upright? Do I put it off to the side? Because, well, one reason would be, well, it's not that big of a deal, but the tunnel is super deep in here. So when this goes in, it's going to be really close to the tunnel, but when you poured gas in, it would pretty much go over both sides. So a center would be fine. Offset would be good. Let's pull. In order to make this decision, I gotta pull this out of. The stand there and put it on its side and look at it like that too. Nah, I'm going centered on this. A lot of tanks, but offset, but also this tank has a big, I mean, it's like almost like a circle, you know. It's not, a lot of tanks are kind of more oblong, so give you more of a flat spot to put it over here. I just don't really see a reason to put it over there. This thing doesn't lean over that much. I think we just put it in the center, and I think I'm gonna put it so it's kind of basically level. Or I could put it like this so it basically goes with the contour. So the tank, but no, I'm gonna make it like this to where it's kind of level, like the cap is level with the earth or whatever you want to say. The cap is level, inset into the tank, pretty much as far as we can get it, probably up to this rim here where this necks down. So we'll have to cut it a little bit short and then position it. All right, I know what I'm gonna do, so let's do it. All right, so I cut it pretty steep to start with, and obviously I think we need to, yep, need to cut a little bit more off of there. All right, that's probably closer. Yeah, that's much closer. Alright, so now we're going to have to mark this. It's going to be set in deeper than that. But that's a son of a gun. So I need to get this completely centered where I want it, and then I need to mark it and cut the hole out. This one I really want to make this as close as possible. Bam! There we go. Alright. Yeah, that is close. So we'll take the die grinder and we will clearance this until this thing fits in here very nice and tight. Alright, so I got the tank clamped down where I want it. I'll put the cap on it. And try and get this looking right and level. Okay, so. Okay. 1 degree down. We are 2 degrees down. Okay, so. Okay, that looks good. Let's get that burned in, or at least tacked, and then we'll, yeah, we can take it down. Actually, no reason to have it up there. Okay. Alright, it's late, but it's done. Except for, it's not actually mounted, so we still have to drill holes, make bungs, and weld them into the frame for this. So there's still a whole nother step there. And then secondly, what was I going to say? I forgot. So we still have to do that. Oh, and we have to put the bungs in the back of it. Or the fittings. This is really thick, so I'm just going to literally just drill and tap it and put a couple fittings in there, and then that'll be it. So we'll take those and we'll bring them together, and then we'll have bring them into wire them together and have one fuel line. So we don't have a lot of room to do that though, so it's going to be interesting how I get that done. But like I said, it's late and I got this thing done and I'm super happy with it. It's not totally done, but I mean it's all welded up, and I gotta water test it. That's what I was gonna say. Before I drill and tap these, I'm gonna water test it, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Hey guys, we got some snow. I ended up losing some footage, so I'm going up to the shop to show you guys what I did with this tank, and it's freezing out here, so I had to get bundled up just to come out here. Alright, so I got the bike torn apart right now because I'm working on some stuff, so you might get some sneak peeks here, but here's the tank finished completely, and then here's our fuel valve back here. So this is all welded up. This is our fuel valve. We ended up doing two, I think they're 1/8 inch NPT with 1/4 inch barbs, and then we got a Y. You have to disconnect this in order to get the tank back off. But what I did here that was kind of trick was I took this valve and I took it apart, took the ball and the seals out of it, and it comes apart right here, and you take this off and you can fish all that stuff out. And then I took the this back part and I ground it down and I put it in the lathe even, and then I took this Y and I cut a little bit off of that, and I soldered them together because it was just going to be too long. It would have been quite a bit longer. And you can see how short everything has to be to get to the carb efficiently. And it's just nice and clean. It looks good. So that's pretty much it. That's what I missed, was showing you guys that. I did water test this thing. It holds right about 2 gallons. So we took about a 1/4 gallon out of it with this big tunnel in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. What was I going to say? Yeah, 2 gallons. I water tested it. I did have a couple leaks that I had to fill in, so I did that. And now we are working on some other stuff you're going to see next week. A bunch of stuff on the frame and the fork. And just a ton more fabrication, because this thing is just, I don't know, I can't quit on it. So we're going to take it all the way to a pretty high level. And it's going to be pretty sweet. I really like this project. I enjoy this kind of thing. So please smash that like button for me, hit the subscribe, smash the bell if you want to get notified of future videos coming out from DJ's Hot Rod and Fab. There's going to be another video on this bike next week. It's going to be a bunch of fab stuff, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.